So I have had conflicting opinions about how to learn a language. Do I learn words every day by reading maybe 5 words a day, 10 words a day, or 100 words a week? Or just read and go with the flow? Don't bother to memorize. Memorize or not to memorize. A lot of people have this problem when they're learning a new language, and we're just going to talk about that today. Let's go. Welcome back. My name is Abraham Salako, and if you're here for the first time, I am an educator and a designer. I have been teaching for the past 8 years, and fortunately, today I am making this video for the first time in my office. This might be a permanent place with time. Let's see how this goes. This is my first time ever doing that, and let's see how that goes. And also, you should take note that this might be a very short one because this is an idea that just popped out. I was going through a YouTube video and I noticed somebody was totally against memorizing. And I watched another video. I saw the other person totally against just reading. And I said to myself, wait, I have actually gone through this. I have seen my students, I have seen people around me go through these situations. Which one works better, or which one should you just go with in a situation like this? Now, not to waste your time, in case you just want to get off this video and run away as fast as possible, let me say this. It's up to you to find out. You should find out which one works best for you. If you have enough time to listen to the rationale behind my speech or decision, just give me 2 minutes to explain myself. I have been learning Russian, the Russian language for the past, let me say, 2 solid years. Let me put it that way. I haven't been consistent, but I must say I've been consistent over the past 200, 300 days. I started Duolingo and I have been learning consistently. Now, if you want to know the reason to that, you might check one of my previous videos to know why I decided to stay consistent learning the Russian, at least learning something every day. Now, this is my style. My learning style is that I go on Duolingo, I do my maybe practice exercises, then I write down my new words online. So if you're here, so of course, forgive my handwriting. If you hear everything in this book, these are my, maybe you just take a zoom in. I hope it doesn't affect my video. So just take a zoom in and see my Russian words. When I learn a new word, I write them down. I write all my new words. See, everything, they're Russian. And don't mind the old book. What you should also assume, you should also imagine what a 2-year-old book looks like. Or three. This is going to three. So you see those writings. And this was, if you look at the beginning here, this is just the beginning of me starting with my Russian alphabet. So this is my Russian alphabet. And over the course of the years, I have written, I don't know, I haven't counted them, but they're kind of like a lot. So I think this is the most recent one. So you should see the difference in my vocabulary, starting from the beginning here where I was writing bread, the simple verbs. And now I talk about aliens, I talk about liquids. I think right now my last topic was about what's it called? It was about population, countries, chemistry. Today I learned about chemistry and I write these words down. When I write these words down, okay, let me drop my book. When I write these words down, what I do is that I go over them every day and I try to pick maybe 2 to 5 words. Most of the times I go more than 5 words and I try to memorize them every day. What I do is I use this formula. I use this 1 hour, 6 hours, and I think 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, and 24 hours formula, where I set alarms, and every time my alarm rings, I try to remind myself of these words. This method works for me. I remember these words and I practice them. Now, that is one. Then I have my partner. She's a language learner. She doesn't have a book. I've never seen her write down words. She's also consistent on Duolingo and she's been there for over maybe 500 or 600 days. She's super consistent on Duolingo, and she has never written down words. And she speaks French, Spanish, a little bit of Russian, English, of course, and Yoruba. So she's been able to learn her languages just practicing and getting familiar with the words. When she forgets, she checks them out, and she doesn't memorize them. She just plays around with these words, and she understands them. And I have experimented this even with my students, English students. Sometimes we just do reading, we play around, and I just speak with them, familiarize them with new words using the Kalan method. So if you don't know Kalan method, you should go online and check it out. Using Kalan method, I was able to get them familiar with these words and just ask them to read and practice. Then I switched my method at a point, told them, printed out these Kalan words, told them to memorize, and they come to class, then we just speak. Now, I must say, memorizing made it a bit faster. But one thing I also discovered is that it's actually depended, or let me say it depends on the student. Some students do well with just speaking. They just speak, they have the new words, they come back, you remind them, they forget, then they come back again. Whereas students that don't write down, or let me say students that write down, there's something peculiar about writing words down and memorizing them. There's always a source to go back to, even when you forget. So what I do is that sometimes I just go through my book, I just go through my words, just the skimming style. I go through my words skimming style just to see which word I have forgotten. Sometimes you forget some words, but because writing down, or let me say, memorizing, sometimes you forget. Yeah, that's the truth. But the thing is that memorizing is harsh. It takes a lot. It puts a lot of pressure on you to always try to remember these words. It works. If you feel unable, or let me say lazy enough, it's not even about being lazy. If you feel you can do without having to memorize, go the other route of just reading. Yeah, I tell my students, if you feel you are not the kind of person that is, I don't want to say the word discipline enough, or let me say is prudent, or let me say, yeah, prudent enough to focus on timing and always try to memorize your words. If you're not the kind of person, it's not a problem. It's frustrating to see people say, "Oh, memorizing doesn't work. This doesn't work. Introduce." No, go for what. If you have the time and you are not under any pressure to, let me say, if you are not under any pressure to maybe write an exam in the next 5 or 10 weeks or month, experiment. Look for things that work for example, I am learning a language for, let me say, fun or better communication, so I am not under pressure. But if you are this kind of person that you have to learn a language in the space of maybe 1 year or something for a specific purpose, I would suggest you go the hardest way possible to learn a language. I have been with a lot of people and I noticed that our motives differ. So don't let anybody influence you without knowing what your motive is. Why do you need the language? And that will, in a way, tell you why or how you can learn your language. This brain has a way of grabbing things that even when you think you're not learning, you are actually learning. So you will be surprised that when you need the words to pop up, they just pop because you've read them repeatedly. So memorizing repetitive reading, it doesn't matter. Okay, I just feel this video is kind of like a rant. Yeah, it's because I was a bit emotional about I was a bit emotional about those YouTube videos. So that's my, is it 10 cents or 50 cents? It shouldn't be 50 cents. Let's make it 10 cents. That's my 10 cents about that. And if you haven't watched my other videos, I would love you to watch them. Like and subscribe. I just want to share my language learning journey, and I think I will see you in my other videos. So see you later. Goodbye.